What is up, adventurers? Today, I'm going to be taking you guys on a little adventure. I'm here in Aiken, South Carolina. I've already done the Miniature Train Museum, and now we're going to be going to the Aiken Historical Museum. Now, if you look, this is not your typical museum. The building has some historical significance to it, and I'm going to be taking you guys around, showing you some things, a little bit about Aiken, South Carolina, here in the southeastern United States. Let's go adventuring. Let's do this. All right, so this is my local museum series I'm doing here on my YouTube channel, Adventuring with Chris. So this is another free museum, folks. Free museum. The Miniature Train Museum I just left was free, and now this one is also free. So let's go inside. This is actually built in 1931. Banskia. It's a boarding house for Savannah SRP construction workers in 1951. So actually they were building the Savannah River plant. So this is where the Savannah River plant guys would stay while they were building the nuclear facility, which I did a museum video on that as well. I really like the knocker on this door. I'm gonna go ahead and say that now. Let's go inside. So I was just talking to one of the museum curators as I walked in, and she was explaining to me that this actually was a private residence up until the 50s of one of the many millionaires that came here through here in Aiken. This was a guy that made his success off of combines and tractors. And this is his house up until his family passed on, and they turned it into a boarding house in the 50s where the Savannah River plant, nuclear plant, actually used this as a boarding house to stay while they were here. So this is some of the OG family and their portraits. Wow. Thurmond. She was born in Denver, Colorado. She married Strom Thurmond. Okay. So this is some of the higher echelon of society people painted here in this beautiful ballroom. Horses here in Aiken are the thing. They love their horses. That's a really nice fireplace. Oh, wow. This is Celestine Udis, 1857. She was the daughter of George and Clarissa Udis from New Orleans. This was painted in 1857 when she was 21. This is General Wade Hampton of the Civil War of the Confederacy. Okay, and then this lady looks like a very 1920s painting. Let's see if I'm correct. Yep, well, close. 1931. Very neat. Okay, so we're going to move on here. We're going to move on here to the next room. A little bit of Revolutionary War history here. 1775 to 1782. Of course, this whole area was owned by James Oglethorpe from England. Love the outfit, very colorful. We've got some horns here and a flintlock pistol piece. So the South Carolina flag evolved a lot over the years. They love their palmettos here. Okay. Oh, okay. So this whole room is dedicated to war, obviously. We've got Persian Gulf. This looks like Vietnam. Yep. Jungle camouflage designed to hold and cover you up in the Vietnam jungles, which is funny that Forrest Gump was actually filmed. The Vietnam scenes were filmed here in South Carolina. Bet you didn't know that. World War I, female uniform. And these little things here, we've got different medals and things like that from people here in the Aiken area that donated. Navy uniform from World War II. And this is a little bit of information from the cotton fields to a major general, a woman whose ancestry was slaves, and she ended up being a major general. Her name was Trowell Harris. and the Korean War, of course. We're going to keep moving here. Some rifles. We've got a World War II rifle. We've got an MK1, and then we've got an M1 Garand. All World War II stuff. And here's some World War II regalia. We got a MRE in there. Steve 1989 on YouTube. Check him out if you're interested in MREs. We got gas masks, excuse me. Different gas masks of the era. I apologize for the glare here. World War II era gas masks. We got doughboy helmets from World War One. World War II uniforms here. The men, they loved the waists. I'm going to say it. The waists in World War II time in the 30s, the 40s. They loved this high waist. Now we're going into Civil War. We've got Civil War era bayonets, South Korea War era bayonets, and of course a Confederate States of America uniform because we are in South Carolina. So there's a lot of Southern Confederate history here prior to the end of the Civil War. Fun fact, my birthday is shared with a Confederate General Robert E. Lee from Virginia. So Charleston was a big place during the Civil War. As a matter of fact, the resulting war eventually led to a separation of 13 southern states, and the Civil War here in the South was all the battles fought here. If you know your Civil War history, the only battle that was not was Gettysburg in Pennsylvania. And as you can see, the bathrooms are functional and they are vintage. This was a guest bedroom. All right, we're moving, folks. I'll go upstairs in a minute. There is an upstairs. She was telling me there's more stuff, and there's a basement. All right, this is the early days of Aiken's Main Street. Saw a lot of this in that train museum. Some exhibits yet to come. Golly, how would you like to sit in that wheelchair? Man. I don't see a do not sit sign, but I am not going to sit on that. Look at the way you worked it with your hands. Here's the chain on it, the bite chain. That is wild. So this is like a dedication to, I would suppose, fabrics and things, like the loom. This room kind of looks like it's slightly under construction, but it didn't say not to come in. So this is the daughter-in-law bedroom. You know what? This looks like an old 1940s, like, Hollingwell. This looks like an old theater lamp. What in the world is this? I'm gonna have to ask him. Look at this device. Realistic. What in the world? It says emergency switch. I have no clue what this is, guys. In the comment section, please, by all means, what is this device? I don't see anything about it. No. Nothing about it at all. We're moving along. Here's a printing press. This is a multi-graph duplicator, assuming it would duplicate books, magazines, things like that. All right, so this room is definitely under construction. This is storage. So we're not gonna, beautiful stained glass, but we are not gonna linger in there for too long. We're moving on. It's just me, literally, again, and one other person in the museum at the moment. Okay, back into the main ballroom, and now we're moving over here to a living or dining room set up here. Yes, Aiken and their horses. So this section is dedicated to fox hunting, roaring 20s, and playground for the millionaires is what Aiken was at the time. Look at this guy. I say there, son, let's go ride some horses. Let me look at this mustache. Bigger the mustache back then, the richer you were. Very Art Deco radio. I absolutely love it. Late 30s probably. Doesn't have any information. Pump organ here. Davy Jones. So that's Pirates of the Caribbean joke. All right, we're going to move on. Another vintage looking bathroom. Presbyterian Church. Going to move on to another room here. Here we go. Here we go. So I called the Kay, she was the hospital was if you need to use the bathroom, here's your facilities. Commode. Not a toilet, folks, it's commode. This one doctor was having to retire, and he took care of all the all right, here's another room. Looks like they're under construction. So one thing you know about houses here in the south is the high ceilings, and the reason for that is because of how hot it gets here in the south in the wintertime. Summertime, very hot. All right, we're going to make our way to the next section. Who's that cool guy? That's me. Move on to the next room here. Hey. All right, so this room is all about, I'm not sure, the Aiken train depot. Here we go. I just came from there. That's the miniature train museum. It's demolished in the 50s and they had to rebuild it. Ooh, here's some Civil War swords here, folks. We've got some pistols here. Confederate revolver, 1856. Navy model revolver. Remington pistol from 1859. Okay. Look at this boat here, folks. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. This is actually a bateau, long flat bottom boat used on rivers. It was actually built by George William. And it was used from the French word bateau. Boats were an important role of transportation in the early colonists, and here's some of them using it flat bottom because of how shallow the waters were. Wedding dress of a Wilcox here, one of the other wealthy families, 1922. This is a cabinet, believe it or not, from 1850. This thing is crazy ornate. Wow. It's even got some guys here at the bottom, some monks. This is wild. All right, another wonderful fireplace. Okay, what we got here? We got a fare box. This was actually an Aiken bus company that collected bus fares. Put your money in, they turn it. All right, so here's some history of the World Wars and Ellington and the atomic age. I'm not going to tag it, but I did go to the nuclear museum here in Aiken. And this is where they completely upended a town to build a nuclear bomb-making factory. Here's an old telephone from, I'm going to say, 1910 to 1940. This is a switchboard style phone. This is a river site. And of course, here's a lock and key from 1716 from British troops. This lock and key were uncovered during an archaeological dig. Really cool. Our indigenous peoples here in this area. From 1670 to 1780, they traded with them. They were here from 3000 BCE, though, to 1000 BCE. All right, let's go to the basement. We've got agricultural, Ellington, American Indian, drugstore and soda fountain, Odell Weeks office, merchants, and public safety. Here we go, folks. Watch our steps. Okay. Basement time. Here we go. Oh. Immediately the temperature goes down as you walk down here. So this section is all about cooking, and this would have been a blue apron named the Ann R. Andrews. Your kitchen staff would have worn. Here's a baby high chair from no date there. It smells like old basement down here, exactly what you would imagine. Some cooking implements, bowls, sugar bowls, things like that. That looks like something from the Flight of the Navigator, but that's actually a gelatin mold. There's a hot plate down there, electrical hot plate. Toaster oven from 1930. Oh wow, this place is huge. This basement is huge. This is crazy. 1940s oven. This would have been, I'm going to say it was gas. It does look gas. Now look at this sucker. I guarantee you this thing's been here since the place was built. Now this section's chained off, but this, I know exactly what these are. These were used to beat the dust out of rugs. You can hear people walking around upstairs. Man, this is such an old house. All right, let's go down here. We're moving. Some cotton thing to grab bales of cotton. Excuse me. Okay, so this is dedicated to the agriculture here in the South, which, as you can imagine, did involve indentured servitude and chattel work. This also is how to make liquor, or as they used to call it back then, this was a distillery, a copper still more specifically. Make it for a little bit of grandpa's cough medicine. I did a whole video in Savannah, Georgia on the gangs and everything that went with trying to make alcohol illegal in the United States. Prohibition. It's a great museum. Okay. I'm not sure what this is, but we're moving on, folks. All right, what do we got here? This is Miller's toolbox. Paying the miller the grinding grain. Whole cup of grain was taken from each one. This is all about grain. And you can't make alcohol without grain. Some forms of alcohol, at least. Some of the tools a farmer would use. Very all hand stuff, folks. No electric. It's a farmer's outfit. What we got here? A turpentine tree for harvesting of turpentine. Huh. Oh, yes. Now, any great agricultural museum needs a wall of barbed wires. 69 types here, folks, mounted and identified by patent date. Every different type of barb for your wire, depending on the animals you have, trying to keep in your area. This one looks exceptionally violent. Okay, we're moving on to the next room. Dairy farming. What am I saying? Dairy farming? The dairy delivery trade. They delivered milk to your house. I can't believe this thing is still going. This is wild. There's a thing to put your liquor in. Milk calendar. 1940s. A little bit of sun drop. Coca-Cola. We're moving, folks. I don't know what's around each corner. This is the wild part about this museum. Is that a safe? My God, that's a safe. It's a vault. They had silverware in here that was worth $1,850 and adjusted for inflation. $30,000 worth of silverware was in this safe or vault. Look in there. They got stuff in there stored. Asparagus capital. Dear God, folks, here's some asparagus. But if you turn around, we're not done yet. This is the largest basement I have ever seen. This section is dedicated to Ellington. If you haven't looked up Ellington, Ellington is a town, primarily black town, that they completely literally destroyed to make Savannah River Site, which is a nuclear facility for making bombs and enriching plutonium and uranium. So I did a whole thing on it on my video. If I haven't already, I'm going to put it on there, the link for you to watch on the Nuclear Savannah River Site Museum here in Aiken. It just got really quiet down here. So this is a J.E. Johnny Steed, the last policeman at Ellington. This is his handcuffs and his bludgeon. He'd beat you with the bludgeon if you didn't mess around. But yeah, this whole town, they basically obliterated for the building of a nuclear facility. All right, folks, we're going down again. How deep under the earth am I? Okay. Oh my God. Okay. If this goes down, I've gone down 3 levels now into the basement. So this is like early history. We're going to 8000 BC, cave paintings, mastodons. This area did have dinosaurs, but this was a shallow ocean, so you aren't going to find a whole lot of dinosaur fossils. But if you go scuba diving in the Savannah River, you can find the teeth of the megalodon. Let's see what they got here in the way of artifacts. We've got some. So this is the Paladonian era. We do have some flint and stone type of stuff. Early Archaic, 8000 to 6000 BC. The Paleo people that were here. They're calling them the Archaic people, but the other museum I went to called them Paleo. So I'll let you guys decide. Stones and things they found. Those were in the Augusta Museum also. Mississippian people. And then we started getting into European influence. New Windsor townships, Catherine Brown, plantations, and things like that. Of course, Savannah River Plant, 1951. Still there today, and they still make stuff. Okay, we just randomly came into I think this is a mid-century diner. That's exactly what it is. Or this is like a mid-century, what is the word I'm looking for here? Not a pharmacy, but I guess it would be a place to get drinks. Here's the word I'm looking for here. Drugstore and a fountain. There we go. This was called a fountain. This is kind of where Coke started. Can't believe it. There's more behind me. Here's a telephone booth, mid-century. They don't want you sitting in that. It's very old. Cash register. Music studio. The history here of, Voice in Oregon, well, downtown Aiken history, I guess. This is wild. We're still going, folks, in this basement. And I haven't even looked at the second floor yet. gas pump from 1914. Okay. So I think I found the end of the basement. This is got a fire truck in it, really old fire truck. Oh, and of course my bestie, Smokey. And I actually went and visited his grave, the original Smokey in New Mexico. Highly recommend it if you don't go to that museum. Highly recommend it. The final resting spot of the original Smokey the Bear. I'm going to take a guess before I look at the placard and say this has got to be early 50s. Let's see. Oh, I was wrong. 1943. Dang. It's way off. 1943 fire truck. Here's some police things. Oh, I love that. There he is again. That is so cool. I have a soft spot for Smokey the Bear because I love the national parks. Here's some really old fire trucks. We've got some nozzles. Call station, box. Here's some of the boys putting out fires day and night. Here's some of the call-up stations, radar and sirens and whatnot. This is wild. I suspect if you came here as a student, like for a field trip, this basement alone would take up most of your day. They actually put water in these. This is a water container. I looked at this at the other museum I went to. It's from 1880. Here's some more water cannons for some of those bigger fires. All right, so we're going to walk out of the museum. Let me switch. Here we go. We're going to walk out of this basement. This is the biggest basement I have ever seen, folks, and the most random by far. Go the way I came. Still in the basement. Still in the basement. Dollars to donuts. This house is haunted. Without a doubt. Did I mention we're still in the basement? That's the official end of the basement, if you can believe it. Let's go to the second floor. Okay, we're heading to the second floor. This place is huge, by the way. This was someone's actual house up into the early 50s. Really get a good workout in coming to this place. Even with the air conditioner on, the temperature just went up. All right. These are some actual train ride things. Don't mind if I do. I feel like I'm on the train. All right, here we go. So this is a plantation house from 1830. All right, here's another room in the house. Restored bathroom via 1930s. Oh my gosh. Everything is porcelain, and I guarantee it'll outlast anything they build nowadays. Some of the renovations they've done. Can't believe this is someone's private house. This is insane. Way too much house. It's been a home, a boarding house, 2 colleges, a library, and now a museum. It's just insane. Come play with us. Oh, God, that mannequin really got me. Jeez, she got me really good. That's Flo Carter, by the way. She was a gospel singer here, and oh, God, that scared me. Here's all of her golden records. Wow, she's really done a lot. This is Niles Borup, Myrtle Beach. This whole section is dedicated to music in the area. The only thing I know of for sure is the lady that sang Rock Around the Christmas Tree is from here. I don't know where exactly, but she's from here. Whew, that mannequin got me. Aiken Sporting Goods. They love their golf and horses. It's 2 of the biggest pastimes here in Aiken, South Carolina. Golf and horseback riding. Tennis rackets. How about a little bit of croquet to start your day? These guys know. I know all about it. Yeah, it's like 10 degrees warmer up here. Triple Crown. Lady at the welcome station was telling me all about that at the train museum. Polo and all sorts of other events. These fireplaces. Oh, they're so nice. I'm lucky to get one fireplace in the house nowadays. There she is. She got me. She totally got me. Ugh. I mean, you turn the corner and there it is, right there. All right, we're moving on. I'm sure she's a lovely woman in real life, if she's still alive. God rest her soul. Did I go in this room? Yeah, I went in that room. I went in that room too. Okay. It's hard to keep. Okay, I think I've done everything here. This is the circus room. Oh my God, it is the Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey's combined showroom. So this whole section's dedicated to the circus. Why not? Okay, freak shows, love it. This museum is just completely random, guys. I can't tell you how random this museum is. Got some commemorative plates from the circus. Someone just had a special interest in collecting circus stuff, and they turned it into a whole section here in the museum. Wow, look at these old posters. It's wild. Okay, wait a minute. So this guy looks familiar. Let me see. Michu, the smallest man. I'm sorry, but I think this guy was a munchkin in Wizard of Oz. It looks like Carl Slover. Budapest Hungry. No, that can't be him. He looks like Carl Slover, who was one of the munchkins that I met from Wizard of Oz. And I know, guys, you're going to say not all little people look the same, but I'm telling you, it looked like him. This is how they got circus animals from town to town. This was full of tigers. Of course, now with animal rights laws and things, they don't do this anymore. Understandably. Culturally insensitive things. Here's the Ringling Brothers Circus, dedicated to freak shows. They've got like a random kids play area in here. Okay. Here's more miniatures. Aiken loves their miniatures. So here's some dioramas of, let's kind of walk you through it. The commissary back there. This is where Carnies. I guess this is a Cole Brothers Circus, Clyde Beatty, Cole Brothers. And here's all the Carnies march into town. Wow. This is just, guys, I can't tell you. This is wild. I mean, look at this. Really warm up here, but this is just absolutely Barnum and Bailey, man. I had no idea any of this stuff was here in this museum. Buffalo Bill. There he is. See if you can see into the tent here. You can, but you can't look like they have anything going on. But this is the circus tent. The Wild West shows with Buffalo Bill. And here's some of the side shows you might get to see. Sword Swallowers, Queen of the Handcuffs, the Giraffe Neck Lady from Ubangi, Tiniest Person. Lizzle the Spider Girl. Come on, guys. Come on. How? How? Just wow. All right, so we're heading back downstairs. I think there's a gift shop, and then we're going to wrap things up. Let's see. Ooh, these are steep. All right. Okay, we're back where we started. Okay. Well, guys, that's going to do it today from probably one of the most random assortment of collection of things at a museum I've ever been to here in Aiken County Historical Museum of History. Another one I recommend. And best part, guys, it's free. Absolutely free at this huge private residence / boarding house, library, museum. And I'll tell you, let's walk around the property here, at least to the front, before I call this a day. You can walk around here on the property, and as you can see, more of the house and just how insanely large it is. This was a private residence up until the mid-50s. And then they turned it into a boarding house for people working on the nuclear power plant. So this is the place right here. The best photo I can get of it. That basement was insane. You know, this will be a great thumbnail. Hang on. So this is the outside of the house. And as you can see, it's a lot of house. I mean, this person had more money than you can imagine to build this place. I mean, the basement alone in this place. But that's how they did things back then. You could build a big house, you know, if you had the money to do it. But I'm walking around in the yard now. I saw some other outbuildings I wanted to check out before I wrapped up with you guys. It is really warm today here in the South. South Carolina is very warm. God, these people had money, whoever built this. The transit of Venus was, is this a planetarium? Yeah, a group of German scientists came here to observe and document an astronomical phenomenon on the transit of Venus every 243 years. I'll be darned. It's remnants of the Iron Observatory. It was moved from its original site. So yeah, I came here to watch some of my possible ancestors to watch the transit of Venus across the sun. Random stuff, guys. You got to get out there and see stuff. Yeah, I see some outbuildings, but I have no idea how I'm supposed to get to them. And to be honest, yeah, so there's like, I'm sure these are servants' quarters, or it's a fancy way of saying slave quarters for chattel slavery. Anything built before the Civil War had to have these things. Here's another view of the house here. Just so much house. So much house. Yeah, so I am getting exhausted. So there's the outhouses for people who had to work here, the servants. Hope you guys enjoyed this free museum, Aiken County Museum of History. I've done the Augusta Museum of History. That was $7, but well worth it too, though. They have like a lot of cool stuff. Really weird plant here. Sorry, I'm wandering into the weeds, if you will. But this is a free museum, this person's old house. And it's got a lot of random stuff in it. And if you're into random stuff, you want to wander an old house, an old millionaire's house that's been turned into a library at one point, a museum, boarding house. This is the place to go, free. And then make sure when you get a chance to check out the Miniature Train Museum and Welcome Center here at the Aiken History Museum. So, that being said, hope you guys subscribe. Please watch my videos. I go live 5 times a day, 3 times a week, Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 8, 10 to 11, and occasionally 3 to 3:30, just to get to know my subscribers, talk to you guys, interact with you guys here at the Aiken Museum of History. Okay, this is Adventuring with Chris. Hope you enjoyed that. I'll catch you guys on the next adventure later.